Free State Premier Sisi Ntombela is set to meet with Mangaung residents today. That's as service delivery protests there continue. A group called the Mangaung Community Concern is calling for the disbandment of the Metro Council. The Free State Cooperative Governance MEC says the city manager will be suspended at a council sitting tomorrow. Meanwhile, a security guard accused of shooting dead a 14-year-old during the protests is expected to appear in court today. eNCA's Slindelo Masikane is in Bloemfontein and joins me now with an update. And Slindelo, what is the mood in Mangaung today following 2 days of vigorous and violent service delivery protests that saw a 14-year-old being shot to death?
Well, a stark difference that we're seeing here on the streets of Mangaung. I can tell you, Tulas, it's definitely not the same. If I can ask Mbuzeni to just give you a picture, all that remains really from some of the protest action that we've seen so far is the debris on the roads, rocks, rubble, broken glass. But what we noticed this morning is that it seems some normalcy has returned, despite what you're seeing on the roads right now. Cars are busy moving up and down. I've seen buses entering the area. I've seen delivery trucks as well. I've seen buses. I've seen children going to school, as well as people attempting as well to go to work. And it seems as though that there's just a little bit of confusion in terms of what's going to happen today. What we know is that the protest leaders from that group that you've mentioned, the Mangaung concerned community, is meeting again with the Premier of the Free State after a meeting yesterday. It seems that there are some outstanding issues, some outstanding demands that still need to be outlined with the Premier in order to really ascertain for sure whether we're not going to see a revival of protest action. What we were told yesterday by the COCTA MEC was that confirmation that the shutdown had been called off. But I was here on the ground till late last night, and there was no consensus among protest leaders that the shutdown was going to be discontinued. What we understood was that they had promised the family of the slain teenager that until their demands are met, their child's death would not be in vain. So at this stage, we are awaiting the outcomes to us of that meeting with the Premier. Following that, the leaders will then brief the community, and we'll get an update as to whether the shutdown has really been called off. But for now, calm and normalcy on the streets of Mangaung.
And at the same time, Slindelo, the appearance happening in court of the security guard arrested in connection with the shooting dead of a 14-year-old. What do we know about how that is going?
At this stage, I understand that my colleague Lindo Gufekulu will be following, or is attempting at least to apply for permission for us to be able to take those proceedings live or to record those proceedings as they unfold in court. What we understand is that during protest action on Monday, a security guard tragically shot and killed what we know to be Giovanno Liam Sichel. He was 14 years old at the time, due to turn 15 in July. And we spoke to the family and saw the family yesterday after a march by the community members to put forward their condolences to the family. And I mean, you can imagine that they're quite distraught. They want justice for their little boy, and they're saying that, you know, what happened shouldn't have happened. So what we know is that that security guard, who's about 50 years old, will be making his first appearance at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. It should be a brief appearance, but we understand that, of course, he will be facing some kind of charges of murder. And
the last aspect that I'd like us to tease out, Slindelo, the actions being taken, call them corrective actions, that are being taken by government. What's this about the municipal manager, the city manager, going to be suspended?
Well, that's what we've been told by the Cocktail MEC. That was one of the demands that was put on the table to us by the forum that is spearheading this shutdown here in Mangaung, is that they want the city manager suspended. They think he is absolutely useless and incompetent and has not really been dispensing his duties in the manner that he should be. And what we understood was that there's going to be a council meeting tomorrow here in Mangaung, where a vote is going to be taken in terms of suspending the city manager. And when I was looking at how the council is made up, we have about 50 wards here in Mangaung. 38 of those belong to the ANC, about 12 belong to the DA. And if, of course, all of the ANC councillors vote in favour of the suspension, then it should be going ahead. But all of that will certainly unfold tomorrow.
All right, thank you for that. We'll keep checking in with you. That's eNCA's Slindelo Masikane out in Mangaung there, reporting on the service delivery protests, as well as what government says they are now doing to try and respond to the concerns of residents in the city of Mangaung. In fact, you will have heard, we mentioned it briefly there with Slindelo, that the Free State Cooperative Governance MEC says the Mangaung city manager will be suspended at a council meeting tomorrow. That's as service delivery protests in the area continue. A group called the Mangaung Community Concern is calling for the disbandment of the Mangaung Metro Council. They are angry over a lack of service delivery and other issues. Meanwhile, a security guard accused of shooting dead a 14-year-old Giovanni Siegel during the protests is expected to appear in court today. On Monday, phase 2 of the vaccine rollout was halted in the city due to the protest action.